guys, so today we're going to talk about Samhain. So I love Halloween. It's always been my favorite holiday, and I've always felt like really attracted to Halloween, like my entire life. I've always felt attracted to it, connected to it, and then ever since getting into Wicca, I've discovered that Samhain is actually my favorite Sabbath as well. I mean, it may be based off of my previous love of Halloween anyway, but the way I celebrate Samhain, the meaning behind it, it's my favorite. So Samhain, which by the way took me forever to figure out how to pronounce, and I mean I had to Google it because it is spelled nothing like it sounds. So are Samhain and Halloween the same? Yes. The Halloween that we celebrate is largely influenced and based around Samhain. So Halloween origins date back to the Celtic festival of Samhain. 2,000 years ago, Celts, mainly living in like the UK, Ireland, they would celebrate their new year on November 1st. So this marked the end of summer, the beginning of longer, colder nights, which in turn led to the use of a lot more fires and bonfires to kind of keep out the cold and the dark. And so, I mean, they would burn bonfires, hearth fires, and this is also where we see jack-o'-lanterns come into the picture. So it was believed that on October 31st, the veil between our world and the spirit world becomes thin, and that ghosts are able to cross into our plane of existence. And so especially at night, this made people wary of leaving their houses. And when they would wear masks, like ghost masks, ghoul, monster masks, to try and trick any spirits that had crossed over into our world into believing that they're one of them and not to attack them. So I found this interesting because in Ireland and Scotland, kids would get dressed up and go door to door singing in order to be rewarded with cakes. And like that was the basis for our modern day trick-or-treating, and it was treated almost more like Christmas. So going back to the veil being thin around this time, this is something I have noticed throughout my life, especially like where I'm working, I mean wherever, because I always work at somewhere haunted. Around this time of year, stuff starts going insane with activity around this time, and that furthers my belief that this time of year is special for that, for spirits having more ability to cross over. Wiccans tend to believe that Samhain is a good time to honor and contact ancestors, spirits that have passed on, people you know. My Samhain altar, which I loved putting together, has a candle for each person that I have lost that was close to me, and their pictures as well to represent them passing on. Right now it only sits at 4, and I would be more than happy to let it stay at 4 for quite a while. So one of the most popular ways to celebrate Samhain is to try and contact the dead. Ouija boards, seances. There's another tradition that I've discovered that I love, honestly, called the Dumb Supper, where you take recipes from people who have passed on and you make them, and then you just have this big feast. Some people, they have variations where like you set a table for just the ones that have passed on, and celebrate it that way. But I love the idea of using recipes that have been passed on to you from people who have passed away. Like I love that idea. Another aspect of the dinner is that everyone living at the table stay silent and eat in silence to encourage the dead to speak. Bonfires are another way to celebrate, which I'm all for. I love bonfires. Campfires, bonfires, just fire in general. Another one I saw that I really liked that, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen way before now. I had to go looking for it because I thought it was like a normally practiced thing, but lighting a candle in your window to help guide the spirit of your passed on loved one home. I like that. I mean, anything to do with spirits and leading them to you, I mean, I'm all for them, whereas most people are probably like, no. So, unlike most of the Sabbats, which are like full of life and huge like gatherings, Samhain tends to be more private because obviously you are honoring your dead or trying to contact your dead loved ones. So it does tend to be more private, more what's the word I'm looking for? Somber, because it's a time for you to reflect on those that you have lost and maybe try and contact them. So it tends to be more private and more solitary, which I mean is understandable. But yeah, so there is just a quick few things about Samhain. Like I said, it's my favorite Sabbath. I love it. It's just a little further peek into my Wicca and my practice and what it's kind of all about. Yeah, I love Samhain because it really just comes down to chasing out the darkness and remembering loved ones and honoring them. So it's just all about finding warmth and light in the dark and cold. And for me, that's a very hopeful, very peaceful way to look at it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you so much and I will see you later.